Oh, ladies, oh, gentlemen, oh, fellas, what's up? What's poppin'? How you doing? Happy National last day. Last day. Yesterday was Happy National Everything You Know Is Wrong Day. Today is Everything You Know Is Right Day. I don't know what the fuck's going on here with these national calendar days, but also, Happy National Free the Information Day. Ooh, you came to the right spot to celebrate that. Ooh, we gonna free the information for these next 20 minutes or so for all you fellas, all you schmacking around out there. Oh, you just got hit. You just got double tapped with that slaps. Hey, I like that. Double tap with that slaps. Let's put that on a motherfucking t-shirt. Happy National Social Work Day to all the social workers out there. In all honesty, awesome job for all of you. National Artichoke Day, National Panda Day. We got some wild shit popping off today. The National Calendar Day, some wild shit popping off today. But hey, how y'all doing? Like, subscribe. You in this channel now. You in this bitch. We about to smack you around. We got an 8-game slate with a lot of news already. And then the top 12 plays of the day. That's what we're doing here, right? That's what we're doing here. We're going to give you the top 12 plays of the day to start your day off. These plays will be updated throughout the day. Link down below on Patreon. All that type of good shit. Also, the optimizer and all that other stuff is down there. So why don't we just get right into it? Hopefully you all are having a beautiful day. And hopefully your start to the week was a lovely time to all of you. So, injury news, lots of stuff. The Rockets today, the motherfucking Rockets. John Wall, Nwaba are out, right? Christian Wood, he gets upgraded from just being out to doubtful, but it seems like he's still not going to play. And then Daniel House and Ben McLemore are questionable. So blow the whole motherfucking thing up. A lot of guys off the bench going to get more secure minutes. Potentially today, if there's no McLemore and no Daniel House, they're only going to have like 8 bodies out there, 9 bodies, or like 7 legitimate NBA bodies out there. Bam Adebayo is going to be probable today, so he's back now. Also, CJ McCollum is finally off the injury report. We get McCollum back. No news on if there's going to be a minutes limit there for him. Clint Capella is questionable. If he's out, run it back with John Collins. If Clint Capella is in, honestly, run it back with Clint Capella, who's coming off of a 48-point game and a 42-point game and still for some reason remains in the 7K range as a standout double-double defensive rebounding and scoring center this year. Bam. Schmack you with that information right there. That's what you do either way there. Kevin Love played 2 minutes in the last game after playing 10 minutes in his first game back on a strict minutes limit, and then he got hurt in 2 minutes in the last game. He's doubtful for today as Al Horford is resting. So some news from the Thunder. Al Horford resting today. Theo Maledon, the rookie, is in. Lou Dort questionable and Darius Bazley out. So there's some bodies now that are going to be picking up minutes in Oklahoma City. We have to see which ones. Is it going to be Kendrick Williams? Probably, but who else is it going to be out there? Pokusevski seems like a decent play. Spoiler alert, Pokusevski's been playing 30-plus minutes in the last couple of games. No, Bazley secures those minutes a little bit more. Lou Dort would even secure them again. So right now he's very close to a top 12 play for me. There's a chance that he gets there by the end of the day, but he's right outside that to start the day. The Knicks Guards today, they're on a back-to-back. Yesterday you saw Emmanuel Quickly start. You saw Emmanuel Quickly play fine in that game when he shot a bunch 19 times, but he just didn't shoot well, 32, but he still got you there with 28 fantasy points, right? He still was not a dud for you. He did not bust by any means, and today you have Alfred Payton, you have Derrick Rose. No official status on them. They missed yesterday. We have him as questionable today. Taurean Prince also out. So at a power forward standpoint, you have Dylan Wilder and Larry Nance today for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So there you go. There's your information. You just celebrated it to start your day off with some injury news. But let's get into the top 12 plays on the day today, shall we? The number 12 play on the day today is going to be Larry Nance Jr. And this is just stemming from the fact that I'm assuming he starts today. Now, starting next to Jared Allen, starting next to Andre Drummond earlier this year was not great. Jared Allen is not the same type of rebounder. Jared Allen's a fine rebounder, but he's not your 40% defensive rebounding rate, sucking all the rebounds away from Larry Nance, making it so that Larry Nance's double-double upside just was not there. So now with no Kevin Love, sure, he wasn't playing big minutes. Now with Taurean Prince confirmed out, Larry Nance has the ability to actually start and play nice minutes. And in that last game, the game blew completely out, right? You ended up seeing Kevin Love start, play just those 2 minutes, and Larry Nance played 14 first-half minutes. So let me show you this right here. So you can see on the screen right now, you can see Larry Nance Jr. as we zoom in on it right here. This is Popcorn Machine. It just tracks the time flow. Larry Nance Jr. is right here. He ends up checking in directly for Kevin Love when he plays about 7.5 minutes, and then he plays about 7 minutes in the second quarter, so about 14.5 minutes in the first half. So really, he was on pace to play about 29 minutes in this game. The game blows out, and you can see he really doesn't get much run to close it. He plays 26 total minutes, but he only ends up playing the first 4 minutes and 43 seconds of the fourth quarter, where honestly, he might have been able to close out the entire fourth quarter, given the lack of depth at power forward that they had. But the Cavs ended up getting blown out, and you can see they put in for the last 5.5 minutes of the game a bunch of scrubs and backups. So assuming that Nance Jr. starts today, and I think that's going to be the case since he checked directly in for Kevin Love last time out, and assuming the game can stay close against Miami, and that'll be a big if today, right? We don't have the team total yet for this game, but it's expected to be a slower paced game. If those things can come true today, Larry Nance is going to start to project out at least for 28 minutes and more than likely closer to 30 minutes for me today at $4,700. That's going to be a nice power forward value option for you immediately right off the back. Schmack you with it, a guy below 5K. Everybody, hey, where's the value today? Can we go stars and scrubs? It's starting off right now as yes, and there's a lot of value on this 8-game slate already, even even more to come. So my guess is, yeah, you could probably start to go stars and scrubs. And yesterday, the top 4 scorers on the slate yesterday was as clear of a stars and scrubs day as possible. Giannis and Jokic, the guys that we like the most in the top 12 plays in the day, pat ourselves in the back right there, shake our own hands. How you doing? How you doing? Hands in the air like you just don't care, sway back and forth. But then you also had Harden and LeBron also up there as well as some of the top scorers on the day. So Larry Nance, number 12 play of the day, getting into number 11, another junior. You got Larry Nance Jr., now you got KJ Martin Jr. And look. Here's the thing with KJ Martin Jr. He continues to produce a lot of points. And look, he continues to close games. Now, in that last game, it was definitely a blowout for the Houston Rockets. And here it is right now. They ended up getting absolutely blown out in this game by like 25 plus points to the Boston Celtics. But in that game, you can see right here, they did not have John Wall, but they also had David Nwaba. David Nwaba in that game played 19 minutes. He's already ruled out today. In that game, Ben McLemore played 19 minutes. He's questionable today, right? Daniel House has not played in a while. He's questionable. So already 19 minutes are now on the table. Now in the blowout, you saw Kenyon Martin to start the game off. He plays 7 minutes in the first quarter, and he plays about 3.5 minutes in the second quarter. So not great, right? He only played about 10.5 minutes to start this game out. If you prorate that over the rest of the game, he's only playing 22 minutes, but he continues to close for them. And in this one, he actually got the blowout run, taking him to 31 minutes. Taking him to 31 minutes meant that he ended up scoring yet again over 35 fantasy points. The minutes are still not secure, but with David Nwaba now out, they get a little bit more secure, and they would get even more secure than that if Ben McLemore was out. KJ Martin Jr. has been a very productive player. Made 7 of his 8 free throws, shot 60% in this game, 2 of his 3 3-pointers, and he continues to pile up peripheral stats like assists, rebounds, blocks. So I'm not expecting KJ Martin to start in this game, but yet again, you're getting another decent, cheap-ish option. His price now up to $5,300. If Ben McLemore is out, he probably gets locked into this top 12 for me. If Ben McLemore is in, he's probably still right around this number 11 number. Maybe gets pushed down as more value comes out in the day. He's been averaging a very good over a fantasy point per minute production number. Again, we're seeing him close out these games consistently, even when they're not a blowout like that last one. So we can start to feel probably comfortable with his projection in minutes with no David Nwaba, somewhere around 24, 25 today. And if that's the case at $5,300, it's going to be a borderline good play for you. Obviously, if you can start to get 26 to 28 minutes in closing out games today against Atlanta, it will look even better. Our top 10 play on the day right now, our number 10 play right now, before we get into Mr. Moses Brown, the center who started last time out for OKC and had himself a decent game in 24 minutes of play. Before we get into him, I want to let you know about the sponsor of the program, Prize Picks. We've been talking about Prize Picks for the last week or week and a half or so. Prize Picks, the happy sponsor of the program, as you can see them on the screen behind me right now, some of the options today. What is it, Sal? What is this Prize Picks? Well, it's a player prop site, right? You could take the more or less, the over or under on certain player props here, and this is the ones for the NBA. They have them for PJ, a bunch of different sports. The reason why I like it so much is you have a ton of variety and a ton of options of players. The bigger reason why I like it is you can take props for the fantasy points, which I personally project, and if you're one of the 500 plus Patreons, 510, round of applause to everybody who's currently a patron. If you're not yet and you don't know, well, now you know. There you go. Shout out Mr. Biggie. But if you're one of these patrons, you should be taking advantage of it. You can use the code SAL to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. What does that mean? You put in 20, schmack ya. You got 20 right back. Oh, you put in 50, schmack ya. You got 50 right back, all the way up to $100. You can build your bankroll just because of that little bonus that they give you immediately once upon depositing. But I like the over-under on fantasy points. And early on right now, there's some really decent plays. They release a lot more throughout the day. I'm recording this at about like 6 in the morning right now, East Coast time, so more will be coming out. But there's 2 that really do stand out to me. You have Julius Randle in 3 out of his last 4 games scoring 60 plus fantasy points. I'm not projecting him at 60 plus fantasy points, but I'm surely projecting him for more than 42 fantasy points that Prize Picks has him. This Julius Randle number, I mean, depending on when you're watching it, it might already be higher, but 42 fantasy point projection, that's going to come up. Probably within hours when people start waking up, this is probably going to be closer to 50. So get on it right now as it's at 42. I want the over there. And in order for us to actually enter a contest, we have to have at least 2. You can put to as many as you want. It's not a straight parlay, right? You can choose to make it a straight parlay, but it's not. It's a flex play, meaning that if you end up only getting 1 right, you actually get half your money back. So it's not a sure, oh, I got 1 right, I lose all my money. No, you actually get half your money back, which is nice. That's why I like the format here. We can talk about more later on the live stream, but I'll take the over on Julius Randle, and I'll actually take the over on Colin Sexton. Sexton continues to play a lot of minutes, so you can see the over right now on Randle to the right of the screen, and the over right now on Sexton. He continues to play a lot of minutes. We enter that right now, and we can double our money if that hits. You can also triple your money if you want to take the risk and make it basically a parlay. But big minutes for Sexton as of late. I'm going to be projecting him for around 37, 38 today at a fantasy point per minute producer. He's going to grade out for like 40 fantasy points for me. That's well over 35, obviously. And Randall's going to project out close to 50 plus points for me. Obviously well over 42. So go ahead, take advantage of this tailless bet. Take any other players that you want. It's linked in the description below. Use the promo code SAL, S-A-L, and you'll get that free money bonus. If you put $20 in right to the start, bang, you got 40. You want to put 100 in to build your bankroll, bang, you got 100. That only happens upon your first deposit. So take advantage of that deposit bonus to get some extra dollaruskis in your bank accounts. So next up, we do have Moses Brown, and he was a center for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He started in the afternoon game last time out. I believe that was on Sunday. But let me just show you about Moses Brown here. He ends up starting this game, and he plays the first 8 minutes and 40 seconds of the game. He picks up 1 personal foul. He actually fouled out in this game. So he proceeds to pick up 5 personal fouls in the next 3 quarters. You can see right here. So Moses Brown, as I zoom in even more for you, I'll highlight him. Right here, Moses Brown ends up playing the first 7 minutes of the game. He only plays in the second quarter total in this game 3 minutes because he picks up 2 personal fouls. That's all he does in it, right? And then he fouls out late into the fourth quarter after picking up a couple more fouls in the third quarter and a couple more fouls in the fourth quarter. He was a decent fantasy point per minute producer during that time, averaging about a fantasy point per minute, so that was nice to see. If he starts at center again today against Chicago, which I'm assuming that he does, I will be taking Moses Brown, yet another value option. Oh, we're just supplying you so far. The top 3 plays or the 3 plays we've talked about so far are just supplying you with the value right now. Brown has only played 100 minutes so far this year. It's a smaller sample, but he's averaging 1.23 fantasy points per minute. A lot of that's probably in garbage time, but it's at least good to see that he's a decent producer, and now it should be a decent matchup against Chicago. Our number 9 play of the day as we get inside the top 10. Oh, it's shoddy. It's sky-high Shoddy Edwards. Oh, it's sky-high Dunkaruski making top shots. Anthony Edwards, 7,200. The price point keeps increasing. Do you remember when Anthony Edwards was like $5,700 and I kept saying play him, and he'd had like 2 bad games in a row, and people were saying stop recommending Anthony Edwards, like 1 or 2 people in the chat, and I was like, you people be silly, you people are very, very silly. And now look where he's at. 7,200, and 7,200 seems so cheap. You want to know why? Because this motherfucker just keeps shooting. And playing bigger and bigger minutes, and there still is no D'Angelo Russell as of right now. You still have no, and for a little while now, you're still going to have no Malik Beasley. And I'll continue to beat the drum for the fact that he's a shooting guard and small forward. You get to put a high-producing player, a man who has shot 24, 18, 22, 23, 22, 22, and 20 times over his last like 6 or 7 games that I just rattled off there. You get to get a guy who's playing 29 minutes in a game where he got foul trouble, 37, 33, 35, 32, 37. Those are the minutes this guy's playing. I'm going to project him for 34 minutes today, and I'm going to project him out for a pretty quality, well over a fantasy point per minute. You can see that Anthony Edwards with no Beasley and Russell on the court this year. You can pull him up to the top right here. He's averaging 1.07 fantasy points per minute. He's averaging a 32.6% assist percentage, and that has only continued to rise and rise as we've gone here. So the sky-high shot attempts paired with his sky-high and really season-high minutes that he's playing right now, even at $7,200, it's appealing. Why is it even more appealing? Because he's shooting guard at small forward eligible. You get to put him in a spot where most of those guys just stink every single day. Our number 8 play in the day is Ennis Canter. CJ McCollum is likely to return today, but that might actually help Canter. When you put CJ McCollum on the court with Canter, he goes from a 1.15 fantasy point per minute producer to a 1.35. Obviously, that's a smaller sample and a small-ish sample, but it's still something to be looking at, right? Another body that people have to account for, and CJ McCollum. And obviously, that just leads to a softer paint for Ennis Canter. At 7,200, both him and Anthony Edwards, kind of 1A, 1B options for me. You can see same price point, similar spots for them. Both of them on SuperDraft look really appealing. 1.55 for Canter, 1.6x for Anthony Edwards. So they're both appealing. Canter's going to project out for me today around a 1.15 guy. He's going to project out to me today for about 32 minutes. That last game did not play big minutes. The game blew out in that one. He also got into a little bit of foul trouble. Our number 7 player in the day is Tomas Saderansky, and there's a couple things to like here. If he starts again, I like him because it secures the minutes. He played 26 minutes in that last game, and that was very good to see. Now, 26 minutes, as with him starting, hopefully we could have seen a little more, but Kobe White off the bench played 27, but he's still just 3,600. Last game, I think he was 3,200, 1.8x multiplier in SuperDraft. It's fine, but probably not high enough for me to want to get there fantasy point projection-wise. So let me show you why I like Tomas Saderansky as I pull up Add More Funds. This just shows you some on-off tools. It's a free tool you can use down below if you want to check it out. There's a link in the description. But Tomas Saderansky, I'll highlight him right here, and we'll zoom in on Tomas Saderansky. The reason why I like him, he contributes in a lot of different ways. One, he's shooting 60% effective field goal rate this year. He's closing in at the basket. So there he is right there. The other thing, 44% from 3. That's some upside, but here it is. 27.9%, let's call it 28%, the highlighted number, assist percentage. Anytime, you know me, anytime that you have something else to your game other than just the minutes and like some usage rate at the point guard, you can rebound a good amount and well above average 20+%, or you can have an assist percentage in the 20s, let alone the upper 20s at 28%. That offers so much upside. And he's a good rebounding guard at a 11.9%, call it 12% rebounding rate. So Tomas Saderansky at this cheap price point, assuming he starts again and we can project him comfortably for 26 to 28 minutes, that 28% rebounding rate just does so much for him. Because at this low price point, even if he only scores you in the game, let's just say he only scores 8 points in this game. That's not great for a starter and point guard playing 26 or 28 minutes. But if he's able to actually pick up 8 assists for you as well, now you're fine at 3,600. Does anything else there and he's smashing for you. Our number 6 now playing the day is Ben Simmons. Look, you take Joel Embiid off the court, you get 1.27 fantasy points per minute for Ben Simmons and a 39% assist percentage. I'll take it. You're going to be getting yourself probably 34 or 35 minutes. We'll put him closer to 35 minutes today against New York. $9,000. The price actually comes down $200 in that last game out there. They ended up having a massive blowout, so that's why like 30+ point blowout. So he didn't get a lot more minutes. So his price point's actually actually coming down because of that. You're getting a nice discount, still with no Joel Embiid for a couple more weeks. So this 1.27 fantasy point per minute projection is very, very nice for Ben Simmons. It's as simple as that as we move into our top 5. And as we move into the top 5, you're going to be seeing Victor Oladipo on the screen today. No John Wall. A lot of other sketchy pieces for Houston. Might be the only actual real name out there, and likely is today. Still no Eric Gordon for a while. A bunch of other names potentially going to be out today. But I want to let you know about our projections or rankings linked down below. On Patreon, we have tools, projections, rankings, a bunch of other stuff down there. Player pools, top interest, top plays, top rated plays. And we also now have a lineup optimizer, the big energy lineup optimizer. If you're watching on the YouTube video, you can see on the screen behind me. So there's a lot of things you can do in here. You can manipulate your exposures, manipulate your randomness as well. So if you wanted to go build a lineup, these are some of the lineups from yesterday. Shout out Emmanuel Quickly being in some of those as well. Shout out also Gordon Hayward getting into some of those when we use our randomness. He ended up having himself a nice day. But you can see a lot of things you can do here. You can choose the number of lineups, your exposures, your total ownership that you want for that lineup, randomness, which is massive, uniques, right? Amount of guys from the same team. So a lot of things you can do. But the most powerful thing about this tool, and this is included in some of the Patreon tiers bundled together, so industry low prices for the quality you're getting. People winning $1,400. Somebody reached out to me yesterday winning $800, $4,000 2 games ago using this new optimizer. But this is some of the most powerful things, especially for NBA. You can set some rules. So what do rules mean? It means that you can just come in here and you can say, yesterday we ended up making a rule that said, hey, at most give me 2 of these Spurs guards. So you can say, okay, at most I want 2 of the Spurs guards. So DeJounte Murray, Patty Mills, and Derek White. All of them look like okay options. Maybe not so much Patty White for GPP, sure. Give me at most 2 of them. At most 2 of them means that you can get 0 of them. You can get 1 of them, but you can't get all 3 of them in a lineup, meaning that you're getting more control over your lineup. I don't want all 3 of them in a lineup, and you might be saying, that's not going to happen. No, the lineup will do that for you, the optimizer, until you start to set some rules. So we set a rule there, and you can do that with a lot of other things to kind of make your lineups even more optimal when you're building out 20 or 150. It is a very powerful tool, and it will definitely help increase your chances of winning, even if you only enter 1 to 3 lineups a night. I personally hand build a lineup for my single entry 3 max, and then I look at the optimizer's lineups, and I kind of compare it, and I take some things from that, or I just take one of the lineups from that. So be sure to check it out. It's linked down below. It's going to, 1, give you an even better chance at winning, and 2, just give you even more convenience. Our number 5 play on the day, Victor Oladipo, 8,300. Look, we're just taking everybody off the court. Oladipo's going to average like 1.25 fantasy points per minute. Yes, Kevin Porter Jr. is still out there. Yes, he's going to be a high producing player. I'm not going to project him as if he's John Wall, but he's going to be a pretty productive player. But Oladipo in that last game, he didn't play the fourth quarter because of a blowout. We can pull it up on Popcorn Machine, but he didn't play the fourth quarter because of a blowout, and he still ended up getting you there with a pretty decent day. Just did not get those extra 4 or 5 minutes that he was going to get. I'm going to give Oladipo 34 minutes today. I'm going to give him over a 1.2 fantasy point per minute projection, and it pretty easily makes him a top 5 play, and what I'm projecting to be a very nice pace environment, projecting over 108 possessions per team between Houston and Atlanta. Obviously, Houston has a lot of guys out, so that can change some things, but Kevin Porter Jr. does increase pace of what we've seen so far. Inside the top 5, we go to the number 4 overall play, and it's Tobias Harris. So I will prefer Tobias Harris to Ben Simmons. He actually is a better producer with Joel Embiid off the court, but it's marginal. 1.27 fantasy points per minute for Ben Simmons, 1.28 fantasy points per minute without Embiid for Tobias Harris. Harris sees a 30% usage rate compared to Ben Simmons' 24% usage rate. But, of course, you're going to be getting a better assist percentage out of Ben Simmons. But for $500 less today, I'll be taking Tobias Harris on DraftKings. I'll actually take Ben Simmons on Superdraft, though. He has a 1.25x multiplier compared to Tobias Harris's 1.15. So give me the rebounding rate, the higher usage, and just the overall lower price point of Tobias Harris as we enter the top 3, Mr. LeBron James. Last night, game blows out. They ended up blowing out Golden State. LeBron James puts his thing down, and he ends up having a lovely game in just 30 minutes of play. He puts up over 50 fantasy points. Tonight, on a back-to-back, look, I feel secure about LeBron. Still no Anthony Davis. Going to project him out for bigger minutes. He played 30 minutes on the front end of a back-to-back. His season minutes total right now is at 35 per game about. I'm probably going to give LeBron 34 or 35 minutes today, and I'm going to project him for about 1.5 fantasy points per minute against the Minnesota team that might be just as bad defensively as that Golden State team was. LeBron arguably can be put higher on this list right now because of all the value I've already talked about. There's even more, right? We've already talked about a couple 3K guys and Saderansky and Moses Brown, even some other 4 and 5K guys on this slate. It's easy to get to LeBron James today, and there's not many other pay-up options. Damian Lillard, do you want to pay that price tag with CJ McCollum back and potentially playing his full minutes? I'm not too sure I want to at this point. No Joel Embiid on this slate. So LeBron is starting to stand out as like your only secure pay-up option, if you will, all the way up top, right? You have some other guys with Julius Randle's price point coming up. Yeah, Jimmy Butler's up there, but Bam Adebayo is returning. So LeBron looks like a very nice option at $10,500 today. 30 minutes last night, expecting 34 to 35 tonight. Our number 2 play in the slate is Emmanuel Quickly, and look, I like Emmanuel Quickly. We got to see yesterday Emmanuel Quickly start. This is if there's no Derrick Rose and Elfrid Payton again. They're on the second night of a back-to-back. Quickly in that last game continues to play big minutes. The nice thing about Quickly, shooting guard eligible. Yes, the price point comes up another $200 to $5,800. I do not care. He only scored 28.5 fantasy points yesterday, but he played 34 minutes, which is a season high, and he shot 19 times for the second straight game. The only problem with this time was 2 games ago against OKC, he shot 56%. This past game yesterday only shoots 31.5%, and he only had 2 assists and 2 rebounds. So he did not shoot well and did not get the peripherals, but yet he still gets you 28.5 points. Quickly is going to be playing 30+ minutes a night if those guards are out. Look, he didn't start 2 games ago, played 33 minutes. He starts yesterday, he plays 34 minutes. So either way, I don't care if he's starting or he's not starting. I'm going to project him for over 30 minutes, and I'm going to project him to shoot better than 32% because he's been shooting way better than that on the season. Quickly is our number 2 play in the day today, and he looks absolutely fantastic, especially on DraftKings at 5,800, but even more so at a 1.75x multiplier on SuperDraft. Let's talk about the final play in the day today, and it's going to be John Collins at 6,700. This is assuming Clint Capella is out. If Clint Capella is in, John Collins is definitely not my number 1 play, but quickly would jump up to that, but it would make Clint Capella at below $8,000 move into our top 12 plays in the day. If I pull up add more funds and take Clint Capella off the court, you can see John Collins plays the most minutes on the Hawks this year with Clint Capella off the court, and a lot of stuff looks really, really good. 26.6% usage. He averages over 1.2 fantasy points per minute. With Clint Capella on the court, this is a guy averaging like 1.1 fantasy points per minute. So a massive jump up there. 1.21 fantasy points per minute. If you end up projecting him for, let's just say, 34 minutes in this game, he's going to start to project out for 40 fantasy points, and he's right now priced below 7K. That's obviously a smash spot. That's why he becomes our number 1 play. He starts to see a 23% defensive rebounding rate right here. So John Collins would just look like a fantastic play, simple as that. We were able to get John Collins on Prize Picks the other day live on the stream. Once Clint Capella got ruled out, we got him for an over under 31 fantasy points. It was a smash play, as I had him projected at that point for like 37.5 once we got that news. So if Capella is out, Collins is our number 1 play in the day right now. If Capella is in, Collins drops down and probably out of the top 12, and Capella joins the top 12, but not as our number 1 play. He would probably be somewhere around like that number 11, number 10 spot. So thank you for tuning into the video today. These are our top 12 plays in the day, sponsored and brought to you by Prize Picks. Be sure to check out Prize Picks, link down below. We already have that one wager in to start today. We'll probably make another one later on today. We have Julius Randle over 42 points on Prize Picks, and we have Colin Sexton over 35 points on Prize Picks today. Again, you can use that code SAL in the link below in the description to sign up, check it out, get that nice free money bonus to start off, and collect those dollar whiskeys. We can tail the bets together, singing Kumbaya as they hit tomorrow morning. We can dance and party like we just don't care. Chill out, relax, max, all cool. You can check out the optimizer that we showed in this video. If you're listening on the podcast, you can check out the video to check out the optimizer and all the other tools on Patreon down below. But for now, happy National Everything You Know Is Right Day. Happy National Schmack It With Information Day is what I'm going to change it to. But yeah, free the information day. Happy Schmack It With Information Day. You all rock. We'll be live at 4:30 p.m. East Coast time today, breaking down the slate and more. And then throughout the day, maybe I'll even go live for an NFL stream covering free agency. But live at 4:30 later today for the NBA slate. And then also live tonight at around 7 p.m. for Jock Markets. The closing bell is back. For about 45 minutes, we'll be live talking about the jock markets tonight in the NBA streets. You all rock. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, gang. Party like you just don't care today, and have a good rest of your day.